Students, let's continue the life history variations, that is population interactions, in our topic organisms and population. So, population evolved to maximize the reproductive times, fitness or Darwinian fitness you can say, in the habitat where they live. So, some species breed only once in their lifetime, that is Pacific salmon, fish and bamboo. And some organisms produce a large number of small sized offspring like oysters. So according to ecologists, life history traits of organisms have evolved in relation to the constraints imposed by the biotic and abiotic components of habitats in which they live. So here in the population interaction, in nature living organisms such as animals, plants and microbes cannot live in isolation and therefore interact in various ways to form biological community. So name of the interaction, so first one is a predation, then competition, then parasitism, commensalism, mutualism and amendalism. Okay, commensalism. Here, the first predation is a predation effects on species A and effects on species B. So there are always two species involved here, species A and species B. Now in predation, species A is positive and this is negative. Means what? Species A is gainer and species B is the loser. So in predation what happens? It's just a prey and predator relationship. Predator is eating the prey. So it is the relation of predator and prey. Now who is the predator? Who is eating the prey? And prey is what? What is eaten up by the predator. So there are many examples showing prey and predator relation. It's a biological control method, nature's way of transferring energy to the higher trophic levels, and always higher trophic levels, whatever the organism they are eating the lower trophic level organisms. So predation is that phenomenon. Now example, in the absence of like predators, prey species could achieve very high population densities and cause instability. They help in maintaining species diversity in a community by reducing the intensity of competition among competing prey species. Like example, starfish, physaster, American Pacific coast, and then when certain exotic species are introduced into a geographical area, they become invasive, start spreading fast because of the invaded land does not have the natural predators. So if a predator is too efficient and overexploit its prey, then the prey might become extinct. So similarly, lots of camouflage and all these things are adapted by the prey species to escape from this predator. Similarly, 25% of insects are known as phytophagous. They sack the plant sap, feed the plant sap, and then plants have evolved various defenses against them, like acacia. Then you have seen more prey like plants used to deposit the harmful chemicals in it so that the goats and all these will not browse on that, and like nicotine, caffeine, quinines. So all these drugs are not only harmful for the animals and they don't browse on it, and this way the plant saves himself or itself. The next one is competition. So what is all about competition here? Now there are two species and they are competing with each other. So competition, both the sides, it can be made to be species A and as well as species B, and that can be competition, your intraspecific competition, intraspecific or interspecific. Interspecific and intraspecific, that is competition. It is generally believed to occur when closely related species compete for the same resources that are limiting, and some totally unrelated species could not compete for the same resource. Resources need not be limiting for competition to occur, like interference competition. Here competitive, so there is an example in Galapagos Island, like Abingdon tortoise become extinct within a decade due to the greater browsing efficiency of the goats. And competitive release is one word here involved. Competitive release. Now what is this competitive release? It provides evidence for competition nature. It's a phenomena in which species whose distribution is restricted to a small geographical area because of the presence of competitively superior species is found to expand. And then Cornell's elegant field experiment showed that rocky sea coast of Scotland, the larger and competitively superior barnacle that rescues the smaller barnacle. Now another important thing, Gauss's competitive exclusion principle. So who is that scientist? Gauss competitive exclusion principle. Competitive exclusion principle states that two closely related species competing for the same resources cannot coexist independently, and the competitively inferior one will be eliminated. Similarly, another word is there, resource partitioning. Now this resource partitioning is what? Is a mechanism evolved by competing species for its coexistence. If two species compete for the same resource, that could avoid the competition by choosing. So different means times of feeding or foraging patterns. And okay, now the next one is parasitism. Parasitism is, it may be ectoparasite or endoparasite, and there is brood parasitism. So these three are the examples of this ectoparasite, endoparasite and brood parasitism. Now parasite means what? Where the host species is required, and this parasitism again, one species A is positive and one is a negative because the host is harmed here. And parasites are normally of three types: ectoparasites, endoparasites and brood parasitism. Ectoparasite means like lice, it sucks the human blood but lying outside the body. Endoparasite, it invades inside the host body at different sites and for food, and it does the harm to the host. And brood parasitism is seen between this quail and crow. So that's the best example, quail and crow. The quail does not make its nest, so quail lays eggs inside the crow's nest, and then their chicks are growing there. So that is the brood parasitism. But the crow, when came to know that this is the quail's babies, then kicked those babies. So that is the cuckoo or the quail parasite. Now the next one is commensalism. This is the commensalism. Now commensalism is what? It is the interaction between two species where one species is benefited and other is neither harmed nor benefited. So one species is benefited. So if I put the plus, other one is 0. That is neither harmed nor benefited. So what are the examples of this? Orchid growing on an epiphyte or mango tree, barnacles growing on the back of the quill, egrets that always forage along with this grazing cattle, and one more sea animal has the stinging tentacles and clownfish lives inside them. So these are the examples of commensalism where one is benefited, sure, but the other one is neither harmed nor benefited. Next one is mutualism, and mutualism is again both are benefited by mutual understanding. So this is also plus side, this is also plus side. Both the species are showing the positive result. Example, mycorrhiza, where lichen, then rhizobium bacteria, these are the examples of showing mutualism. You already studied in your previous classes. So mycorrhiza is what? Close association between fungi and the roots of higher plants. Fungi help the plant in absorption of nutrients. Plant provides food for the fungus. Like glomus is the mycorrhiza. So examples you can say lichen, then glomus, the rhizobium. So these are the examples of mutualism. Next one is commensalism. Now, commensalism is what? It is an interaction between different species in which one species is harmed, but other is neither benefited or not harmed. So one is minus and other one is 0. So negative and 0, that is showing commensalism, and that is what? Penicillium, a mold secretes penicillin which kills bacteria, but the mold remains unaffected. So that's a special case which shows this commensalism. What is that? You know that penicillin, discovery of penicillin is done by whom? Alexander Fleming. And Alexander Fleming saw that the fungus Penicillium notatum release penicillin, but the penicillin is killing the bacteria. Okay, that is, bacteria is harmed, but penicillin is, the growth of Penicillium notatum is unaffected. So go through NCERT, read all these interactions and join the class.